we're going to be talking you through our next matchup, which is going to be Tariq versus Kiran. And it looks like we've got a Snake Eyes Kashtira match going up against Yubel, which Yubel we did see in the previous round, but really going to be interesting seeing these players duke it out now. A completely different matchup to what we saw prior.
It's a very interesting matchup. It's two very combo-centric decks, except Yubel can play a sort of grindy game. Of course, Tariq piloting the Snake Eye Kashtira deck to its utmost full potential, and Kiran giving it his best on Yubel.
Absolutely. So I think we are good to start the match. Just going to wait for the judge to get started, and then we'll hit on over. Or actually, production, let's head on over in the meantime, and we'll get the judge to start. Awesome. Looks like they're just busy finalizing a few house rules on their side, and we should be able to hear from them shortly. Oh, yeah, there's the handshake. You're going to see Tariq in the blue at the top of your screen, and Kiran at the bottom in the red. And let's see who's starting this match. Okay, it's going to be Yubel starting off.
Very, very strong start. Yubel players always want to start with Nightmare Throne. It's the most powerful card in the deck. Probably going to go fetch Samsara Lotus, Samsara D Lotus. Very strong normal summon gets you into either Spirit of Yubel or Grave Squirmer. And then Spirit of Yubel can set Nightmare Pain. Nightmare Pain can pop a Spirit of Yubel, which double triggers to float into two more Yubel monsters. Yeah, very strong start from Kiran over here. And Tariq just taking the time to quickly read over Nightmare Throne, double checking the wording, etc., etc.
And when it comes to this matchup, compared to what we saw prior, which was the Yubel Branded matchup, we saw Branded just kind of run away with the game quite steadily with the amount of interruptions and the amount of really they were able to set things up and have the right answers in the right places, and very well played by Blaine, of course, in that. But now in this matchup,
it's going to be a bit different because it's hand trap wars. So we're going to see some very different alternative lines from the Yubel player. The normal summon of Dark Beckoning Beast being met with an Imperm, shutting off effectively two more bodies, and then just a set pass.
Oh no, this is not what I was expecting to see from a strong start. Like, you really want to see more of this.
Unfortunately, Yubel can just produce hands where they're like, oh, my one starter gets negated, I guess I have to pass. But players on Tariq's side,
I mean, we do see Tariq has another Imperm in hand. Of course, if he does opt for a monster summon here, he's not going to be able to use it. But starting with the Kashtira Unicorn, I think this is where it's quite important to note that, yes, it is Snake Eyes, but it is the Kashtira variant, which we saw a lot of success with, I would say, early in the Snake Eyes seasons.
I think what is really strong as well is right at this position, Kiran does not know if Tariq is on Pure Cash or Snake Cash. It is very strong.
So Ash over here for the search with Unicorn to find a Kashtira spell.
On resolution, Kashtira Unicorn triggers, getting to look at the extra deck, reveals some very key information to Tariq, such as Kiran being on the Super Poly package, as well as the Gustav MacLeap OTK line.
And it's gonna be quite interesting seeing what the selection is here. And Tariq really taking his time on that as well. If you were in their shoes, what would you see yourself opt for?
Probably try and rip the Garura in fear of the set card being Super Poly. I think if you can force out an early line where you go like Phoenix to pop and then reborn two monsters instead of immediately getting hit with a Super Poly on normal Ash into Poplar, I think that could be very strong.
Yeah, that can be exceptionally detrimental, but going for the Yama instead, getting rid of any unchained continuations.
Yeah. What Tariq has effectively done here is he said, I don't fear the set, I'm playing a grind game.
Yeah.
You will not get to Unchained combo on the following turn because I've ripped it now. So slowish start from both duelists. Play back to Kiran. Normal summon of Samsara D Lotus. This is a very, very strong card.
What are we opting for here? Okay, it's giving me a bit of a read. I think this is also a case where just making sure of the wording is so important and so helpful so that you know how your cards are going to interact with things.
Absolutely, especially because Tariq has an Imperm set and he wants to make sure that he can Imperm this and then it would resolve when it tributes itself a cost, etc., etc. Just double, triple checking. Being met with a Veiler instead of the set Imperm.
And I mean, I'm quite sure that Imperm's in the column of the set card that
And Kieran's passing back play to Tariq, very limited
wow.
starters, and then Tariq ripping an ash, a bonfire off the top, probably going to go search a Snake Eye Ash. The beauty of this as well is even if a Snake Eye Ash gets impermed, we still have Unicorn Search.
True, yeah, that's not on summon. That's actually an effect you have once the monster's on the field and spawns.
So Unicorn will be able to fetch both, and then we have essentially a full combo line from there because of Princess Reborn Ash, and then you can send to summon Poplar from deck, and then Poplar fetches original for Oak. It doesn't look like we're interrupting this Ash at all. Getting into Poplar, Poplar effect to summon, on summon effect to add a simple Snake Eye card from deck to hand, adding Temple. Temple here has a lot of different options. You can either place your Flamberge into the spell trap zone, which is extra pressure because these Snake Eye monsters could convert into a Nightmare Phoenix rather quickly, or you can go for Snake Eye Bellstar for more extension.
I think okay, here's the latest in the Diabell line of cards as well.
Yeah,
being introduced here into the continuous trap zone, and off it goes for Snake Eye Ash's effect.
Yeah,
to summon from deck.
We're gonna go fetch Oak. Oak is gonna summon back the Ash, and then how this interacts is when the Poplar goes to graveyard, it will put the Snake Eye Diabolster back in the spell trap zone, so that the Snake Eye Diabolster could put the Poplar back in the spell trap zone and then summon itself. But first we're gonna Oak, send Ash, try to summon out a Flamberge from the deck.
And did you see what the other set card was? I didn't actually notice the first round.
Didn't catch it. So we're playing Schrodinger's trap card at the moment.
Yeah. Could be pretty much anything, not just a 50-50.
On resolution, Kieran's just taking a small think here. Tariq is going to go ahead and activate the effect of Unicorn to go and fetch that player finally. There's a lot of potential lines Tariq has here between making Nightmare Phoenix to go after the back row, between just link climbing up. Especially because this Nightmare Phoenix can be chain blocked with the Poplar, so you can go chain link 1 Phoenix discard, and then chain link 2 Poplar targeting the Snake Eyes Diabellstar.
Looks like we've...
And
looks like that was Flamberge 1,
yeah,
and then Flamberge 1, Phoenix 2, and Poplar 3.
Yeah.
And that was the Super Poly.
And that was the Super Poly.
Oh wow, and just not having a target here, so very well navigated here from Tariq.
I think it was poorly navigated from Kieran actually, because he did have multiple opportunities to use the Super Poly, just didn't see this exact line. And players on for Tariq as he accumulates more and more advantage.
I'm really not sure what more Yubel is going to be able to do here in this current state. I think this is where Snake Eyes, we see why it's one of the predominant decks in the meta here. It gets to push exceptionally far.
Yeah, there's not a lot of saving grace here for the Yubel player, not even like an Ibiru Velo combo would be good here, especially because the Temple can still summon. The Birth is still in hand, which can summon back the Unicorn as well. There's still a lot more gas from the Snake Eye Kashtira player, as well as there's an Ash Blossom in graveyard as well. So Heater is also a very, very viable option here.
Yeah. I think I do like the fact that
Flamberge placing the Samsara D-Lotus in the spell trap zone. Temple should be able to, later on in the turn, if Kieran summons, should be able to summon out that Samsara D-Lotus, but it looks like we're declaring attacks. An attack declaration Spirit of Yubel is going to summon. This represents a big threat for Tariq, as it becomes a lot harder to achieve game here. Because if you try and destroy the Spirit of Yubel via battle phase, it triggers to summon a Yubel from deck, as well as Nightmare Throne triggering to summon a Yubel from deck. But Nightmare Unicorn on here is going to be able to be chaining 1 to rip another card out of Kieran's extra deck. But it's not going to trigger the Unicorn, just going to meet it with an Imperm.
Oh, just an extra clarification on that, making sure that there's still a line to play through this. I mean, are we? We're actually in the battle phase now, aren't we? Or
We
is
are
it-
in the battle phase.
Indeed. So I mean, being in the battle phase now does limit the extension options quite a bit. And I was actually about to praise Tariq on if you take into regard that he still has the birth in hand, he's opting to keep the resources until he actually needs to use them. But now in this situation, you're in your battle phase, that there's only so much you can do. Maybe a little bit early to go into that, or not really too sure as to what Yubel's pressure can apply from going into that.
Yeah, I think this is a huge knowledge check for Tariq. Not being entirely sure about what Yubel is capable of is very severely hindering
Oh,
his
wow.
performance right now. But the called by the grave, meeting the spirit of Yubel, and then Kiran just scooping it up right then and there.
Yeah, so going to be going over to game 2 now. We do have 1 point up for Tariq. And I think we can start looking at some sideboard work here, seeing what these players are going to be able to do. And I mean, looking at these, I don't really see too much here that has a lot on Snake Eyes. I think in a combination, it could be quite good.
I think because Kiran is side decking Skill Drain, Anti-Spell Fragrance, and Triple Tackler's Talent, which could be very relevant in this matchup, especially because the Snake Eye player is on so many hand traps. The talents will often very times be live.
Absolutely. And I mean, if we move over to Tariq's deck list, let's have a look at what we've got working here. Over on the side deck here, a Bestial package,
The
Forbidden
Bestial
Droplets.
package is very strong against Yubel.
Yeah.
You want to hit the Grave Swim out of the graveyard. You want to hit Spirit of Val out of the graveyard very often. The Yama is a massive target as well. Deck Lockdown is also huge. Yubel loves to add cards and summon cards from their deck. Deck Lockdown shuts it off completely. Cosmic Cyclone might also come in, as Nightmare Pain represents a huge threat. Favorite Contact represents a huge threat. Eternal Favorite, sorry. It's just huge. And then Forbidden Droplet as well, being able to negate the Barudas and the Unchained Soul of Rage. Very, very impactful.
So I think definitely in the side deck here, I don't want to say favored, but I definitely feel like there's a lot more that we can kind of garner from Tariq's side deck. And part of this is Snake Eyes already has so many slots available, especially when you take into account the amount of hand traps that you can start pulling out as to which hand traps do you swap out for other interaction and what matchup does it really work with or work against. And if you compare that here to Yubel, I mean, I'm no expert, but going first here, I do feel like skill drain is kind of the main factor, but Tariq's also citing that as well. So he definitely has a plan to play under it.
Absolutely, but the thing is that Skill Drain is also cited in the mirror match, the Snake Eye mirror match. The upside for the player who owns the Skill Drain is that their Snake Eye cards can send their Skill Drain for cost, thereby removing it themselves.
Okay.
Whereas they struggle to remove it themselves because the extra deck is entirely just link monsters.
That's a really interesting nuance and very important as to how the spell trap zone works and interacts with Snake Eyes. It's not just the monsters, it's actually anything you put in there.
The same applies to deck lockdown, by the way, which is Snake Eye Ash and Oak can add to hand. So, or special summon a Snake Eye monster, like say Oak or Ash, send 2 cards to summon from hand or deck. Provided you have a Snake Eye monster in your hand, you can activate that effect under deck lockdown, sending the deck lockdown for cost, and then you can summon a monster
you lose
from
the
deck.
effect that you're like stuck under. Okay.
Yeah.
So you almost get to optionally choose when you're under the floodgate when it goes back to your turn, which I think is a very undervalued but exceptionally strong thing to do. Definitely in the mirror matches, but even further than that, other matchups are going to have to deal with the same threats that you're able to present here.
Yeah.
So it covers a wide range of what the playing field could look like. But siding seems to be completed, going through a little bit of a shuffle between the players here. They do seem to be having a good time, which I really enjoy seeing. As much as Kiran's currently down one game, looks like he's possibly ready to come back to this one. A little bit of an uncomfortable draw there, but
The nerves
rectified
might
draw.
be getting to the players a little bit.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, I don't think we have I don't think we have a lot of these sort of feature matches, or these sort of events with feature matches. So definitely new to some players.
No, I can tell you right now, being on a feature match is very nervous. You're like very nervous. It's very stressful. You got eyes all over you, but you get through it.
Yeah, I think as soon as players do it once or twice, they get quite used to it. Depending, not everyone's used to having the lights, cameras on their action, so to speak. But I'm interested to see what we open up with. I mean, we were praising the field spell open, and okay, as I mentioned, there it is again.
Every good Yubel player opens Nightmare Throne.
It's just the way the deck starts. It actually has a clause that it starts in your opening hand.
Yeah.
But he also has the perfect follow-up.
Fetching Samsara Lotus again, normal summoning, being met with a Veiler, shutting off the 1-card starter, being met with into an Almirage.
Okay, we're gonna find a way to push through this.
Gates effect to discard 1, summons back the Samsara Lotus. And then we can trigger the Samsara Lotus since it's no longer negated by the Veiler to summon a Spirit of Yubel from deck. But first, obviously, we're gonna go fetch the Dark Beckoning Beast. Don't forget.
Let's not forget to fetch things. I mean, the way that this kind of, let me look at that card again after adding something to hand. I wonder if maybe Tariq is actually presenting an Ash Blossom in the hand as well. I might be reaching a bit, but that sort of snap double check after it's resolved.
I think it's actually more along the lines of Tariq might have a Bestial. Ooh, Spirit of Yubel, straight play.
I mean,
this represents a Spirit of Yubel regardless of if Tariq had a Bestial, because if he Bestials a Spirit of Yubel against Samsara Lotus, and Samsara Lotus can fetch Spirit of Yubel from the deck anyway.
Okay.
Spirit of Yubel being met with another Veiler.
Not again, once per turn. Don't forget it. Do not forget it.
Yet again denying access to Yubel Engine.
But I mean, this does mean that Tariq right now is starting next turn with only 3 cards, but we do see the Bonfire in hand, which we know is pretty good.
That we haven't been able to see any Yubel gameplay.
Yeah, unfortunately not. I mean, I think this is the furthest we've gotten yet this tournament, but not the worst setup. I do hope for Kiran having some hand traps or at least some sort of interaction in the hand to work with.
Tariq seems to have opened the deck lockdown that he might have sided in, but normal Ash being met with
Ash.
Ash. Not the most optimal play, because you would rather save the Ash Blossom for a Snake Eye Ash or Oak effect to send 2 to summon Flambird from deck, because now you severely get punished by Bonfire at Poplar, which is happening right now.
Or, yeah, and this is pretty much full combo here for the Snake Eyes player.
Or you get punished by Diabal Star setting original and then get access to Poplar from there, which can then fetch Temple, obviously.
Ooh. Let's see what's, I mean, opting to go for Temple and just playing it after the resolution of the ad.
I'm interested to see what line Tariq takes here, if he's going to go and place the Snake Eye Diabal Star, or if he wants to go for a more Snake Eye Oak or Flambird line. But it looks like he's just keeping a cookie cutter Snake Eye Diabal Star, keep it simple.
Play the lines he's comfortable with.
Exactly.
Don't have to overdo it.
Looks like he also has a 1/3 in hand, so that will be original access later on.
And a cheeky draw if you want it as well.
Yeah. Simple spoils of the original Snake Eye, whatever it's called.
Original Snake Eye, whatever. It's the card name. That's actually
Ash summoning Oak reborning the Ash, and then Oak effect sending the Ash to summon Flambird from deck.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people that have been watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Lately know this line quite well, or at least the optional lines that are available here. It really just depends if there is interruption coming in from Kiran. And I think in this case, do you feel that with what we have, ignoring the cards in hand and what they could potentially be for Kiran, do you think there is a way for Yubel to come back with what is currently on board? Or do you think it's just all she wrote here?
I think it might be all she wrote, because what is going to happen is we're inevitably going to go into Phoenix to destroy the Nightmare Throne, and then later on we will try and get into a Z Atlantis line, which will put the Spirit of Yubel face down and then trigger destroyed, but the Spirit of Yubel will trigger naturally and then we'll summon, which we can then just Apo negate if we want. So all of this is enabled because he has the extra engine from Heater, because Ash is now in the graveyard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you really have to watch out for when you utilize that. Snake Eyes getting bodies on the field and then still being able to take yours to Link Climb.
So chaining one Flambridge, chaining two Poplar. Poplar is probably going to play Snake Idea Bellstar. Flambridge summons back Ash Oak. And then keep in mind that the extra engine that we do have in hand still is the Wanted, which can fetch us the Bellstar by sending the Poplar that will later be in the Spell Trap Zone. And then we can just original send the Bellstar, do a Selene line into Appaloosa, and it should be all she wrote.
Yeah, this is kind of where you want to have like a 2-time speed on watching a player combo. I definitely want to see what Tariq actually comes out with. We're of course talking hypotheticals here, but I do feel that's the line that's probably going to be correct. I mean, here's the princess. It's just going to be extending a bit further.
The skill expression right now comes from how Tariq wants to navigate this turn in order to play around the potential hand traps that are in Kieran's hand, and what to do if he does get hand trapped and this line gets stopped.
I think it's important also to check what hand traps are being played, but it looks like it is actually just the Ash Blossom in Kieran's deck and then the Ghost Ogres on the side. But I mean, you can double check this, but I don't think there's any other hand traps that can really come out here. And I don't think, well, with Ash already being used with its once per turn clause, I don't really think there's much that Ghost Ogre could do to stop this board.
Ghost Ogre can stop the Selene from resolving. On summon, Ghost Ogre the Selene. And that should stop an OTK at least. We also saw Flambridge putting the Spirit of Yubel in the spot trap zone, so we don't even need to do the Apo negate line. We can just keep it cookie cutter. We can just go Raging Phoenix, the Atlantis, reborn the Amaraj face down, destroy it by destroying our Flambridge, and then the Snake Eye Oak is on 2000 attack.
I mean, at the same time, I'm quite sure it's also temple buffing all the ones as well.
Yeah. So it's giving the Snake Eye Oak 1100 attack. So it's on 2000 at the moment. Summons back the Amaraj.
And let's see, just working out the numbers here. It should be lethal. But, I mean, we haven't seen the hand. There could be something.
Triggers Princess, targeting most likely is Flambridge and the Amaraj.
Looks like it's maybe targeting the Raging Phoenix.
Oh, he's targeting the Oak.
Oak, okay. Princess coming out.
Triggers the Raging Phoenix. Bit of a weird zone placement here. Usually you would want the link monsters to be all linked with each other to give the Atlantis more pops. Also activating deck lockdown just before going into battle phase to make Spirit of Yubel less impactful if it is potentially in the hand.
Yeah, I think that's huge. So at least now we know exactly why that play was, or why this line was played by Tariq, instead of just going for the blowout play, still having something just in case. I think that's really an important thing as well. Like, he is squeezing the most incremental value possible out in his turn so that he doesn't have something. I think that's something we spoke about in the previous round as well. It's just navigating what are the outs your opponent has that you have to watch out for. And there's the handshake. Tariq takes game 2, another 2-0 for the day.